Hey everyone, Caleb with the Antique Book Collective, and today I'm getting to you guys and answering the question of should you go to Friends of the Library book sales? So first off, what is a Friend of the Library book sale? Like first off, what's a Friends of the Library? Like what in the world? So for Friends of the Library, it's an international sort of group of people, and every single library, or most every single library, has their own Friends of the Library, which is a volunteer group of people, and they work with the library, they go through donations, they do fundraising, they do all these sorts of things, and they raise money for the local public library. So some might be doing this to either build a new library. I've been to some libraries where they're doing that. Some are doing it to renovate the library. Some are doing it to get the library new technologies, new computers, new books, all sorts of stuff. And it's a really good cause, and it can really help your local community or the community of where you guys go and buy your books. So for me, I personally love going to the Friends of the Library sales, not just because I like helping the local community and local libraries, but because I can make some really good money doing it. So for me, I am a book reseller. I'm also a book collector, and I like collecting books, and I love finding different books, and I'm a big reader and all that sort of stuff too. But for me, the biggest reason, and according to my taxes, I go to these Friends of the Library sales in order to buy books for my book business. So my book business is an antique book business, largely. I do sell other books as well. I sell some new books. I also sell lots and lots of vintage books. But where most of my money is, my bread and butter of my business, is the antique books. And antique books, believe it or not, guys, libraries have hundreds of them, thousands of them even, depending on whatever library you go to. But that isn't the only reason why I go to the Friends of the Library sales. I go there for the newer books as well, because I have had so much luck with mass market paperbacks. Like, there are some mass market paperbacks that you get at public libraries that are worth so much more money than the average mass market paperback you might be thinking about. Like, I buy and sell literal lots, that's what you call it on eBay, of like 10 or 20 or however many, and I sell hundreds and thousands of those. I can make some really good money on those. But my antique books, again, that's the bread and butter of my business. That's where I make most of my money. Those mass market paperbacks, yeah, I make a few dollars per book, whereas the antique books, I can make hundreds of dollars on, or thousands of dollars on. I think the best I've ever done at a Friends of the Library sale was probably, I want to say maybe $2,500 or $3,000 for a set of books, but generally, I normally get an average of $70 per book for sales, because that's my average overall, and Friends of the Library sales are where I get most of my books. For me, though, I like certain Friends of the Library sales more than others. There are some that I no longer go to for one reason or another. Sometimes it's because it's too far. Other times it's because their pricing stinks. Other times, beyond that, is sometimes their selection just isn't something that I'm interested in. So, with all that said, what do I look for when I go to Friends of the Library sales? Well, one thing I like to do when I'm thinking about going to a Friends of the Library sale is I think about, okay, what kind of people live here? For me, I like to go to places where I know there's a lot of old people living there already. If the city is a very new city and has a whole lot of young people, generally I won't find a whole lot of great value books there. Whereas if it's a lot of old people, and especially if it's an old town that's been around for at least 100 years. I live in Oregon, so 100 years is very old over here for a town. But if it's been around that long, I know that the books are going to be really, really good. And I also look for, is the sale going to be an annual one, a monthly one, or is it a weekly one? If it's a weekly one, or if it's one that they have a bookstore, I actually only go to those once every so often. Like, I try to hit some of these like once a year if it's the ones that are bookstores, just because it takes that much time sometimes for them to accumulate enough books for me to want to go back. Whereas if it's an annual one, I try my hardest to make it to a lot of these. Some of them do 2 a year, so biannual, or I think that might be it. I don't know. But sometimes they do 2 a year. Those can be absolutely amazing to hit as well. Other ones, though, it can be a small town of like 5,000 people. I'll hit that like once a year or once every couple of years. So there's actually one town that I hit once called Marcola. It's down south from me quite a ways. It's by a town called Eugene in Oregon. And that one I've only gone to once. It was a pretty good sale, but it's not a big town, so I'm not expecting a whole lot of books new to be there, but I sort of want to go there because it's a really good sale. The people were really nice, and it was a beautiful town. Beautiful, beautiful town. That's another thing that I love about this business and going to these Friends of the Library sales all over my state and all over. I live on the West Coast, so all over the West Coast. I love doing that just because I like looking around, but I especially love finding all these really cool books. So with that said, though, there are some Friends of the Library sales where the people are nicer than others. Some they're just absolute fart nuggets. So that is something that I sort of play around with and think, well, maybe I'm not going back to that one. Like, there's one that I went to and everyone was a little rude. They weren't very helpful. Their organization was turd. absolute turd. Oi. And they didn't have any good deals, and their books were all trash. Like I think I got like $20 off the sale, and I had to drive like 8 hours for it there. So probably not going back to that one, but these other ones, like I go to one down in, so I live in Portland area. I don't live in Portland. I live outside of it. So like everyone else that lives in my city, we despise Portland. But I live around there, and this other Friends of the Library sale that I go to is in a town called Prineville. And I've driven there so many times. I haven't gone there for the past couple of months. Unfortunately, I've had stuff going on. But I went to this one all the time because it was such a good sale. They were nice. The books were amazing. It had such a high turnover of how many books they'd have, and they had it once a month. Like, I talked to my parents on this because I like always tell them about my business, and I'm like, guys, I think I could literally run my entire business off of this one Friends of the Library sale. And that's personally why I recommend everyone goes to Friends of the Library sales, is you can find just one Friends of the Library sale that can make your entire eBay business work. But if you can find multiple and really, really get a lot of books, man, you guys can just be set for life. You'd be like leaning back, taking a nap, and getting sales left and right. Like, literally, as I make so many of these videos, I actually get a sale here, a sale there, a sale there, and it's really funny because I'm just doing my thing, working on all these other projects, filming the videos for you guys, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I just made $500. Cool, that's a good day. I'm just making money as I'm making a video. Cool. So that's something that's always fun. So with all that said, though, there's a lot of other benefits to going to these Friends of the Library sales besides just you making money. Like, another thing is so many of these Friends of the Library sales, they throw away or they recycle the books once they're done with it. And for me, I'm a big book nerd. I know I've made this joke in other videos, but I'm still bitter about about the Library of Alexandria burning down. Like, if they had a Friends of the Library back then, it would have been nice to save those books. But they didn't. And nowadays, we still have books getting thrown away, getting destroyed, all these different things. And it just really pains me as a book person to have it happening. And that's one of the reasons why I made this channel, is by getting as many other people as I can, buying books, collecting books, all that sort of stuff. I'm actually saving all those books from getting thrown away because, believe it or not, I'm one person. I don't think I can go to all the Friends of the Library sales around the whole world. Last I checked, there's a couple too many for that. So that's what I need you guys to do. And when you guys go and buy some books and save some books from going and getting thrown away, you can make a whole lot of good money doing that. In addition to that, though, you can find a lot of childhood memories. Like, you can be like, oh, I totally forgot about this book existing, but seeing this cover again, yeah, I remember my mom reading this to me, or I remember this person reading it to me, and it's really fun to like revamp some of these memories. In addition to that, if you are a bookseller, you can be the person offering that to people who are shopping for books. They can be like, oh, I've never seen this book in the last 40 years since my mother read it to me, and stuff like that. It's really fun because you can be the person helping people live out their dreams. Or for me, I actually have a set of books over there. It's a Charles Dickens set of books. It's from the 1890s, and I've had so many people buy just one or two books out of this particular set that I had, and they're like, listen, I just need this one book. I've been working on this set for years, and my father before me did it, and my father before him did it. This is 3 generations of us trying to get this set of books finished, and you have the last book that we need, and we've been looking for it for years. It's the only one I've ever found in all these years. Like, it's crazy to think that you can be part of someone's story like that, and that is like the power of the internet. It's the coolest thing. And this one guy that did it lived in Canada, another guy lived on the East Coast, another guy lived down in California. And it's really funny because it's like, wow, this one set of books that I bought in this one town just finished these different people's stories. It was really cool to be like, wow, you took part in that part of history for those people. And it's just cool to think that that's something that you can do, that's the power of a Friends of the Library sale. For me, that particular set of books, I didn't get a Friends of the Library sale though. I got it in an estate sale, which I've talked about in other videos. In fact, I'll be linking that in one of these areas probably at the end of the video. And it's a really cool thing though, if you guys can just shop around, find some books. And when you find these books, not only can you make good money, you can make memories, and you can make other people's memories happen as well. So with all that said and done, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to check out the other video, and be sure to subscribe as well, and I'll see you guys in the next one.